Hi, I'm Arlene McIntyre, Creative Director at Ventura Design, and you are listening to Shut the Front Door, a light-hearted podcast that will bring you through the front door and into the homes of influential and interesting people. Home for me is one of the most important things in my life. My career has fortunately given me the opportunity to work closely with people and to help them create a home they will cherish forever. Sophie Stanbury lives at home in Barnes in southwest London with her 2 young sons. Professionally, she's an interior designer, influencer, podcaster, fitness fanatic, and one of the leading cast members of the successful reality show Ladies of London. Sophie, thank you so much for joining me today in our showroom in the Chelsea Design Centre in London.
Absolute pleasure.
So I know you're a busy girl and we have a very short little podcast with you today, so thank you for joining us. I just wanted to chat to you about your home and your memories of home and all things to do with how you live in your home.
Yeah, well, obviously, you know, my passion is interiors. It always has been from the age of, I can't remember, 7 or 8 years old. I've always been really interested by architecture, features. My mother was a complete fanatic on antiques.
Really?
So she inherited things from her family, and our homes were always built around, well, not built, but styled around the antiques. So we had lots of stories behind everything. And I guess that's really where my interest began. You know, we always had this big grandfather clock in the hallway. And every time it chimed, you know, there was a story behind something. And my parents were really good at educating us about all the sort of history of where things came from and where things were made. Having said that, I'm not such a massive fan of antiques in my home now.
Yeah.
My way of living now is, you know, I've got 2 little boys, so it's got to be practical, but it's got to be clean and stylish and, you know, have an elegance and sophistication about it, but mainly be comfortable and cozy. So I kind of really like that modern classic vibe. Lots of gorgeous textures and fabrics and patterns, but keeping a fairly neutral palette and adding colour in through cushions and curtains and things like that. But I like it to be really calm. You know, the children are hectic, life is hectic, and when I step in the front door, I want to feel like I can relax,
take a breath,
and lie on the sofa and feel really cozy and comfortable.
Okay, so you have a real appreciation for antiques and you have a great understanding of that from your childhood.
I do, but it's not something I've really followed up with in my sort of, not older age, but it's not something I really focus on these days with interiors. What I focus on now is practicality and, you know, making your home work for you. And although I love going to look at sort of stately homes and staying with friends that have these fantastic heirlooms, I don't necessarily want to integrate them into my house or my interiors. I like looking at them from afar, but I don't necessarily want to have to look after them because they take quite a lot of work to,
for sure,
you know, to keep them in ship shape and maintaining them. Exactly. So for me, it's all about functionality and comfort and coziness these days.
Excellent. Me too. I would be on the same page. What is your style, your own personal style? You said at home you like cozy, classic, contemporary.
I like a contemporary classic feel. I really love to add a bit of drama through, you know, colour through cushions and things like that. Artwork, although, you know, it's hard to invest in pieces that I'd really like. I've got a wish list, which is forever growing. But yes, I love, you know, wooden floors, big rugs, cozy throws and cushions, but on a fairly classic sofa. So I like to keep everything quite clean and elegant and simple, and add a bit of glamour through layering of fabrics and cushions and everything else that you can put on top of it, but keep the basics quite straightforward.
And timeless.
That's the thing. I mean, I've moved so many times in the last few years. Lots of changes in the family, and you know, I've finally found our forever home, I hope. But it's been brilliant because I invested in our furniture when I moved to a big property in Putney, and I've been able to use those pieces in all of my homes that I've moved around in because they're so versatile and the colour scheme was so neutral that they really fit in anywhere. And I think that's the real key to interior designing, is finding pieces that will stand the test of time.
Investment buying.
You don't.
It's like
need
with your own wardrobe, really. You just have your investment pieces and build around those.
There's such a big link between fashion and interiors.
Definitely.
I think if you find a style that you like, and mine is fairly classic with a modern twist, then that's going to last forever. You don't have to replace it. You're not going to have an outdated, huge piece of furniture that you don't know what to do with.
Exactly.
And, you know, I've invested in a couple of really key pieces that I'll be able to keep, hopefully, forever.
Perfect. Now, just a little bit more about you. How do you unwind in the evening? You're such a busy girl.
My favourite thing is always a really long hot bath. You know, once the children are in bed, maybe a glass of wine, candles, and a gorgeous aromatherapy bath with oils.
Divine.
It's really the only way that I get my peace and quiet. Otherwise, I find I'm distracted too easily by an email or, you know, somebody
Do you sneak your phone into the bath? Are you one of those people?
It's my complete zone of peace.
You switch off.
Switch off. And then that really sets the tone for going to have a good night's sleep. Because obviously when you're super busy, it's hard, as you know, to switch off and lie in bed and be able to fall asleep because your mind is racing with things that you need to do tomorrow.
Yeah, checklists.
Yeah, checklists. And that's really, you know, something I keep so firmly by my bed is like a sheet of paper where I write things down so I get it out of my head so I can switch off. But yes, a glass of wine and a nice bath. And of course, I love having friends over for dinner. So entertaining for me is relaxation. Yeah. Cooking's relaxation.
Laughter is so important.
Laughter. And just, you know, having people in the home, feeling proud of where you live, feeling proud of what you've prepared. It's all about making yourself feel good, making others feel good, the children feeling good.
So you like hosting?
I love hosting. I love cooking a family meal or having friends over for supper. That's also another lovely way to unwind. Open a bottle of wine, chat, catch up, eat something delicious.
Light the fire.
Light the fire. I've now got a fire, which is so nice and so atmospheric. So yeah, that's another gorgeous thing to do, is sit around the fire and chat. Is
Christmas important to you and your family?
Massively.
How do you do Christmas?
I have to say I did 1 year not in England, where I was in Dubai for Christmas. And although we had the most amazing time, it just didn't really feel like Christmas. I have to have a tree. If it snows, that's even better. Presents under the Christmas tree. Cashmere, cozy, roast turkey, all the trimmings. And having all the family in one place, it's honestly the most special day and something I would never give up. And, you know, my ex-husband and I still spend it together with the children.
That is great.
All of our extended family. And it's a real joy to be able to all come together on that day and celebrate being part of a big modern family.
Yeah, good for you. If your house was on fire and you had to save 3 pieces, objects, not your kids, not your pets, not your hubby or partner, whoever. Yeah. But if you had 3 things in your home that you had to save, what would they be?
I think it would have to be my bed.
Okay.
Having a really comfortable bed is really important to me. I invested in my bed when I got my first property, and it's got the most amazing mattress. I sleep like a log. And every time I go and stay in a lovely hotel and I think, oh, this is going to be amazing, no children, I can sleep so well. And then I actually miss my bed.
I know.
So my bed is massively important. My sofa, love my sofa, and probably my ottoman. I kind of designed my sofa and my ottoman to go together. And it's so cozy. I've got such a lovely fabric on it. It's piped, and the ottoman's got that pop of colour on it. I think if I was to choose 3 pieces, they're my cozy pieces. I feel like if I put them in any home, I'd feel at home.
Great. And can I ask you another question, a little bit off-piste? What did your teenage bedroom look like when you were growing up as a teenager?
Oh my God.
What posters did you have on the wall? I
can't even tell you what I did in my bedroom when I was a teenager. I got really into graffiti.
Really?
And I was, you know, I loved art and I loved pop art. And I asked my parents if I could graffiti one of my walls. But obviously I bought the wrong paint. And so one of my walls in my bedroom was this kind of extraordinary, abstract, paint splattered, dripped. And it looked quite cool, but my parents obviously were furious. I'd destroy the house.
Yeah.
I think we did it for 6 months.
The beautiful antiques everywhere, and then they go to Sophie's room.
I know, it was ridiculous. But the rest of my room was really cozy. So kind of similar style to what I have now. You know, an upholstered headboard, a really cozy bed, side tables, quite clean, and you know, I thought I'd just inject this colourful graffiti art in there.
So you've always been very creative.
Yes, and I've always been really particular. You know, for me, it's got to be exactly the way I like it. Otherwise, I don't feel like I can switch off and relax.
Do you find you're a perfectionist, that you like things in their place?
Absolutely,
and you're super organised?
And unfortunately, I've passed it on to my son, who is now fastidious about doing things his way. And I just think,
it's not a bad thing.
Gosh, what have I done?
Mini Sophie.
But yeah, I've always been like that. It's always got to be exactly, you know, everything's got to be laid out properly. It's a little bit OCD, but it's got to be symmetrical. It's got to have balance.
Yeah.
It's, you know, all of those things, which I had from a really young age.
I think a lot of people in our industry, though, are a little bit OCD.
Yeah.
They have to be
really, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about the details.
It is, yeah.
And actually, funny enough, you know, I was talking to my client about this morning. It's all in the little details and the other little elements that people might not think of. You know, bringing things in together, a piping that matches a border, or, you know, an ornament that matches something else, and just tying everything in together. And I really love that aspect of the creativity side of interior decorating.
And on that point, how do you approach a project? So when a new project comes in, what would be the first steps you would take in creating your schemes, or how would you start it?
I think it starts with the client. You kind of try and get as much information as you can from them, because the briefing is really going to be the deciding factor about how easy and how well you're going to present your first round of conceptual drawings and designs. So if you can kind of gauge who they are and have a look around and what they like and what they don't like. And then I go away and I just go and have a look at everything, you know, magazines, online, design center, and I just get all the new kind of vibes and the new trends that are going on, and then come back to my desk and pick out things that I know are actually going to be suited to the client. So it's kind of it starts off huge, and then I bring it back into what I know that I think will work and look good together.
And once they trust you, and I think once they feel that you've got their brief,
yes,
you understand what it is they're looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and I think, you know, it takes a while. You have to bounce things off each other.
For sure.
But that's the really fun part, is when you know, get something right and they love it.
Yeah.
And you can visualize the whole house, and you tell them how excited you are, and hopefully they're going to get just as excited with you. And it's such an amazing process.
Because they buzz off your enthusiasm as well. Because it's really stressful for people when they're moving into a new space, or if it's their existing home.
It is. And I think, you know, having just moved house, you know, it's down to the sort of last details of everything. You want everything to be perfect.
I know.
And you don't necessarily have time, if it's your home and you're working, to actually spend the time to do that. So you can rush things, and that's where we come in.
I know.
And take that pressure off and enjoy the process and make it happen.
Yeah.
Bring to life their vision.
And what would be a dream project for you?
Well, actually, the one that I'm working on now is pretty dreamy. It's, you know, it's a house that's already been built about 6 years ago, and the client wants to have fun with it. And it's a very formal house. He wants to completely rip it out and start
Fantastic.
Again. And, you know, he says we can do whatever we want. There's a blank canvas. And so that's really a fabulous project to work on. I think the harder ones are when you're going in to tweak things, and somebody has a particular style and taste, and to work with them when they're already quite particular is quite challenging. And I think, you know, a lot of people wanted an interior decorator, but what they actually want is to do it themselves, but to be told when they're making mistakes.
They just want that guidance and reassurance, nearly.
Yes, exactly. So those are always a little bit more challenging. They're still, you know, great projects, but it's nice when you have a blank canvas and a man who says, you know, do whatever you think looks good. So you can really do what you think looks good.
Well, he clearly trusts you. So, you know, you've reached a point where that's the perfect kind of point to be at.
And that's the perfect project.
It is the perfect. Yeah. Just another little question about you. Are you a spiritual person?
I love Reiki. It's something I got into quite recently, but I love healing, Reiki, sound baths. Again, it's just those tools to unwind and sort of self-care, self-love, which we're all so much more aware about these days. And just using those tools, you know, if you're really up against the wall and you've got a really tight deadline and you're panicking, sometimes just thinking the universe will take care of me and it's going to happen. If it's meant to be, it will be, is a much more productive way to think about things.
For sure.
Otherwise, you get so stressed and worked up about things that are really out of your control.
And you nearly kind of draw in more stress to an already stressful situation.
I mean, I was brought up as a very strict Catholic with Catholic parents. I went to a convent school, but I don't really... That's always there. So I always think there's a bigger picture. But now I'm much more about, you
have your own views
and sharing and making yourself feel good and using tools and energy that you can use to make yourself the best version of yourself.
Yeah, I really am very sensitive to people's energy. So if I'm with someone and I feel they're super stressed, I'll do all I can to de-stress them and reassure
and also
them.
pick up. We kind of want to surround ourselves with people who have good energy.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
And so it's good to get your energy cleared. And I think there's some amazing people out there who can come and
gifted people,
heal you and make you feel better about yourself and better about life, and I'm all for that.
Me too. I have a big list. I have a go-to list. A lot of my friends are like, oh, here she goes again with her list. But I really feel it helps me.
We have those options now. We didn't know about those years ago.
Great.
So,
So interior designing is your absolute passion.
It is.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
Oh, gosh, that's a good question. I mean, I'd like to see myself in a lovely big house in the country that I've completely designed from top to bottom, making lots of money, keeping my clients happy, with happy children, maybe another man in my life. But,
no doubt.
That doesn't matter necessarily. But, I don't know. I just think as long as I'm in a great place, in my family life and I'm making enough money to pay the bills and, I've got some good work under my belt and good prospects. That would be really my goal, is to sort of set myself up and be happy and successful.
And can you describe home for me in 3 words? What are the 3 words that describe your home?
Cozy, warm, and full of love.
That's lovely. So, Sophie, we're going to just ask you a few quick questions.
Okay.
This is a bit of fun. Bath or shower?
Bath.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Or bedside, left or right?
Ooh, left.
When you're getting dressed, is it bra first or underwear first?
Underwear.
Cat or dog?
Both.
Red or white wine?
Red, 100%.
Texting or talking?
Texting's quicker.
Okay. Taxi or walk?
Walk.
Home or abroad?
Home.
Kim or Kanye?
Kim.
Melania or Donald?
Who?
Donald Trump.
Oh my God, neither.
Thank you, Sophie.
Such a pleasure. Thanks for having me.